It's the lucky Libra in the building. This one might be a little overdue, but it was heavily requested, so we got to get into it, man. The astrology behind Cat Williams and his viral moment. First things first, let's look at that first house. He's a Leo ascendant. We already know Leo energy deals with attention, okay? And they can manifest a lot of it when it's in the first house, whether they want it or not. But when they're intentional about being seen for something, they can access that light. And not only is he a Leo ascendant that could come off very expressive and charismatic, we got 4 planets in the first house: Mercury, the Sun, Venus, and Pluto. More planets in the first house, more of a bigger personality, all right? Huge personality when we got 3 or more planets in the first house, especially when the planets is Mercury that deals with communication, and he has that in Leo. So he's going to always be pushing out his vision and finding ways to articulate his visions to others so other people can see them. And he's going to be very critical of other people's appearance and expression as well. Then he got the Sun, all right, in the first house, which the Sun loves to be here. So it could have just been the Sun by itself in here. This person most likely 9 out of 10 times going to be very expressive. All right, the Sun is going to spread some goddamn light on their personal awareness about things. All right, but his Sun is conjunct Venus in the first house. This type of alignment can make somebody infatuated with their own personal expression, with their own personal self-identity and appearance. And, you know, word through the grapevine, Cat Williams was doing some capping. He was doing some capping. I seen a clip of Kevin Hart debunking Cat Williams' ticket sales. Then I heard in another podcast that Cat Williams said, you know, when he was a teenager or something, he used to read 3,000 books a year or a month, something crazy, like just something unbelievable. All right. And I'm not saying this is not an intelligent person, because we're going to get to that. He's very smart. All right. Damn near a genius. But that placement is a capathon. They gonna cap with that Sun conjunct Venus in the first house. A lot of the time they could exaggerate things about their personal experiences. And then he has Pluto in there. So this brings the intensity to his expression. People with Pluto in the first house, sometimes their expression can make the room uncomfortable. They could bring taboo things you know, to the surface. So off rip, his first house is just doing numbers. And because the Sun is the ruler of his first house and it's in the first house, I already tell y'all all the time, when you have the ruler of a house in that house, your spirit is very comfortable initiating and establishing certain things in that area. There's a level of mastery from your past life that you've brought into into that area in this experience. So his Sun is in the first house. I mean, the ego could be out of control with this placement, especially with Venus there. The ego can be out of control sometimes, but the personality is going to be loud, is going to be impactful, all right? It's going to touch others, okay? And a huge potential for, you know, some, you know, really strong talents when it comes into personal creative expression in general. Speaking about making the room uncomfortable, he got that moon 1 degree Aquarius, all right? I told y'all 1 degree is the baby. 1 degree is eager, is excited to push that energy out. All right. So when we talk about being detached, when we talk about being emotionally removed from how you express and react to things, yeah, we all up in that with this placement. We know the moon being 1 degree Aquarius, that's the Capricorn Aquarius cusp. All right. So there's a lot of Saturn energy around his moon. We know when somebody has a lot of Saturn energy, it could take time for things to, you know, mature and progress in their life when it comes into what they're navigating, how they're building their reality, how they're navigating their career path. And the ruler of that house, which is Saturn, is in the 10th house. Now, that's a powerful alignment in career. This person is going to be able to be, you know, devoted towards the routine and the path towards building things, once again navigating their career path, and it could establish a lot of stability in their lives when it comes into their 10th house presence in the world and, you know, their public image. However, he do got that North Node and Mars in Aquarius along with his moon in there. So it comes with a lot of power struggles dealing with the industry, okay, when it comes into him trying to get into certain positions, you know, through the 6th house, through working on things. Best believe there was just a lot of power and control issues, a lot of ups and downs, people trying to take advantage of him. And that North Node in Aquarius is placing him in situations where he's spiritually understanding how relationships work on a large scale in the world. Remember, air signs, relationship influences, but Aquarius represents relationships out in the world. The societal outlook of relationships in the world, okay? Societies in general, you know, groups, communities, all of that. Secret society, throw that in there too, secret societies, but we gonna get there. We gonna get there. Sun in Virgo, Moon in Aquarius, this is a very intelligent alignment, but this alignment could be too smart for its own good, because the moon in Aquarius could be very stuck towards their fixed thought about things and have a fixed emotion on top of it. So that's just a high level of stubbornness. And then the sun in Virgo is always going to feel like they're able to articulate a certain detail somebody else is not able to articulate or see. So as I can see how he articulates things, he's very detail oriented. He has a way of communicating. Like I said, he got that Leo rising charisma already. And then he has a lot of air placements that help him deal with communication and whatnot. But as y'all can see, Sun in Virgo, he's pulling them receipts out. Virgo gonna have a receipt for that ass. All right, if it's anything Virgo gonna do. But whenever we deal with opposite energies in astrology, it can create extreme influences. So his moon in Aquarius, but his rising, right, his personality being in Leo, once again, this is why his expression can be a little bit intense at times, because certain things he may feel like his moon Aquarius needs to keep inside. His Leo rising be like, man, push it out. And then all the other planets in the first house just get along with the get along. All right. So, I'm sure in his life from a mild to major perspective, he's, had his consequences and different lessons when it comes into learning how to level manage his expression in the world. Now, jumping back to his 10th house, what's his midheaven, guys? Taurus. What rules Taurus? Venus. Where's Venus at? In the first house, next to the sun. So this is just going to create huge potential for somebody to have a huge status, a huge, public image in general, but really through their personality or things dealing with their personal, creative expression in some type of shape or form, like whether it's comedy, music, painting, public speaking, teaching. Let their personality be seen with this alignment, and eventually things are going to pop in career for them, or they're going to develop a huge status, probably a bigger sense of notoriety and recognition in career than they even thought they could manifest. Now, guys, this is another important placement when we talk about Katt Williams being a radical. He got Uranus and Libra in the third house. The third house is dealing with how we push out our thoughts, how we develop our communication methods, all right? But a huge influence on how this person's mind functions in general, besides, the luminaries, the sun, moon, and Mercury. All right. So you always want to look at somebody's third house to understand how they may have experienced certain things, especially in their adolescent stages of life, to understand why their mind works the way it works. When you got Uranus announced, you're going to have opposing rebellious thoughts. A lot of your communication methods are going to be intense once again. So we got the moon in Aquarius energy. Then we got Uranus in the third house. So when it comes into communication with this guy, it's never been a smooth thing to digest for a lot of people. He's very opposing. And then once again, that opposite energy with Leo in the first house, sometimes it just don't make it better. He just gets more passionate about pushing out, this individual, original, unique thought. What's the placement we could always bank on a comedian having potentially? Jupiter in the fourth house. Jupiter in Cancer, a strong Jupiter placement in general. But that Jupiter in the fourth house, Jupiter in Cancer generation, or Cancer placements in general, that's huge with comedy. That's always going to be huge with comedy, because they get to take things that we've all related to, things that we've all experienced that hit our subconscious, that we felt heavy on, and they know how to make light of it. Jupiter, make light of it, expand it, and bring a lesson towards it, bring a philosophy we could all relate to. So that's just an influence on part of where his, comedic edge comes from. All right, guys, now to conclude this breakdown, I'm going to take y'all somewhere right now. We're going to go a little deep, okay? The day this podcast episode was dropped was January 3rd. The moon was in Libra. What do we know about Libra in Katt Williams' chart? He has Uranus in Libra. He's part of the Uranus and Libra generation. What's some things that Uranus represents? Oh, I don't know. Rebelliousness, societies in general, occultism, Freemasonry. Speaking of Freemasonry, I went to go see if Katt Williams was on tour or if he had any tour dates coming up. And what popped up? Katt Williams, the Dark Matter tour. Guys, can y'all explain to me what this hand gesture means? Who just takes a random picture, right, for a tour, for a album cover art, and decides to put their hand over their face? But hold on. We're going to keep going a little deeper. Then Google decided to show me this picture of last year's tour dates where Katt Williams is making this hand gesture. Family, when you see things like this, these are all Freemason hand gestures, all right? This is Googleable information. You could take your ass to Google and find out for yourself, all right? So Katt Williams ain't exposing nothing. He's a part of the get down, okay? He's just being used. It's the age of Aquarius. They have to play these reverse psychology tricks so we don't dive too much into the matrix and the industry. They try to normalize these things. If Katt Williams was exposing anything, this interview would have not even came out.